first thing you do when skinning your specimen is to lay the animal out on a tarp to keep the meat clean as you take the hide off the animal. Today we're going to do a long incision, starting at the back of the head and going straight down the black line to just behind the shoulders. Cut in a straight line down the center of the back and try not to remove the knife. Now you can use your hands to pull the hide away from the meat. Use a sharp scalpel blade to separate the hide from the meat. We want to leave all the meat on the animal and get as clean a cape as possible. Now we've skinned one whole side of the animal's neck past the shoulders and down to this point here. We're going to make an incision from here, straight back past the elbow and past the shoulders to the point where we ended our first incision. Now we're going to cut between this cut and our first cut, just a straight line between these 2 points. Continue skinning around the leg. Notice I did not cut through the armpit. I cut straight back and down the leg toward the rear end of the animal. Once you've skinned up to the knee, just remove the hide from the animal at the knee joint. What we've done here is skinned half the animal, and then we'll roll it over and do the exact same thing to the other side. Now we've got the animal 1/2 skinned. You can see we've made an incision down the back of the leg and straight down the back of the animal. Before we turn the animal over, cut down the underbelly of the animal in a straight line from that first cut. Always put the hide back on the carcass before you roll the animal over to keep it clean. Now we're ready to make our next leg incision. You can see here that there's a seam straight down the middle of the leg, where the hair on one side is white and on the other side is brown. You want to make sure your incision is right down the center of the seam. Cut straight down this line past the elbow and straight back. Now continue that circle cut from the center of the back to the belly. Then continue to skin this side of the animal until you get it skinned up to the knee. Then cut the skin off at the knee. Finish that circle cut at the underbelly and then skin the brisket all the way up to the throat. Feel for the atlas bone. This is the point where the head rotates. This is where we are going to remove the head from the neck. We're not going to take this head into the taxidermist with 10 pounds of meat on the neck. We're going to eat that meat. Before we cut the head off, we're going to measure the diameter of the neck here behind the ears. We'll just set the neck in a casual pose. Now it's not going to be totally accurate because the animal is dead and the muscles aren't pumped up with blood flowing through them. You'll need a tape measure for this. Wrap the tape measure around the neck, behind the ears, and tight under the chin. Do not squeeze too tight. I get 17 inches. Now measure down 3 inches and take a second measurement from this point up to the same point under the chin. This animal measures 19.5. It's very important to take this measurement on the meat for the taxidermist to know how big the neck was. If I were to take this measurement over the hair, I get 19 inches. That's a 2-inch difference. Now we're going to remove the head. Peel the hide up, and now you can see where the head pivots. This is where you're going to make the cut. So cut the back, the side, and the throat right through the meat. Through the throat, the larynx, right to this bone. This way there's absolutely no wasted meat. Now I'm cutting through the joint right here at the spine. Be careful cutting through the spinal cord that you don't slip and cut through the hide. That is ready to go to the taxidermist. And I'll show you what we have. We have the head in good condition. We have plenty of shoulder skin, both armpits, and the full brisket. A perfect cape to take to the taxidermist so he can finish caping it and mount it so you can have it on your wall.